We'll have more with Albert Pujols tomorrow night. More from Busch Stadium continues right now. It's Game 1 of the 2008 regular season. Let's talk about the closers in the NL Central. And yesterday we saw a couple of guys give it up in the middle of that graphic. Kerry Wood and Eric Gagne. You have Matt Capps of Pittsburgh, also Francisco Cordero. No stranger to the Central. He moves from Milwaukee to Cincinnati. And the Cardinals have no stranger to St. Louis, Al, and that's Jason Isringhausen.
Well, Izzy is 19 saves away from 300 this year, but it is amazing because you cannot win without having an established closer. Izzy's got to be as good as anybody in the Central.
Let's hope we see him tonight. More from Busch Stadium is coming up. It's game number 1 of this 08 campaign.
Dreaming of a convenient way to shop for boats and accessories? It's not a dream, it's CopeMarine.com. Your anytime pass to Cope Marine's gigantic inventory of boats and accessories from the comfort of your own home. CopeMarine.com, selling fun for over 40 years.
Other burgers are circular or rectangular, but the steak burger is spatular.
Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers.
In the morning, it's all about get in, get out, and get going. Men's Rogaine foam won't change that plan. It's the first and only foam that regrows hair. It goes on easily, dries quickly. Men's Rogaine foam. Use it or lose it.
Hey, if you're looking for some fun, it's all here in the new private poker room. You'll find some serious action and a great game.
Shake 'em up, roll 'em, baby. We're gonna have some fun. Yeah. Get into the action.
Shower yourself with cash. Every Monday in April, step into our money booth and grab your share of up to $30,000.
You come down to the President Casino, you're gonna have some fun.
The President Casino. Yeah.
That ought to do it.
Assuming you've done enough for retirement doesn't make much sense either. That's why you should invest with Edward Jones to make sure you're on the right track. Because 2 out of 3 Americans are unprepared for retirement. Don't be one of them. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Since it opened back in 2006, here at Busch Stadium, the Cardinals are 7-2 against the Colorado Rockies. Batting practice has been wrapped up. Tony La Russa and the Redbirds looking for victory number 1 of the season against Colorado. Our first pitch is just moments away.
Once upon a time, long ago, there was a humble man who came to town bearing a most unusual gift. The gift of the magic rings. These rings were not shiny, nor made of precious metals. But they would, said the man, allow people to do amazing things.
There goes the flag in the row.
On these magic rings, he told all who would listen, mortal men can fly. And though some laughed, many more believed. And those who believed did indeed fly, faster and farther than anyone thought possible. And people came from far and wide to watch and to wonder. As the years passed, the legend of the magic rings grew. And today, from every corner of the world, the people still come. They watch, they cheer, and they wonder. Because now, just as always, the magic rings are available to all who would have them. Where will the magic rings take you?
Dear Lisa, all my love, Johnny. Dear Belinda, all my love, Johnny.
Buying 2 dozen roses is expensive.
What's your name?
Janine.
Buying 3? You ain't eating thick burgers for a week.
Dear Janine.
Bacon cheddar melts, 2 for $3.33 at Hardee's.
Cardinals baseball on FSM Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light. Endless refreshment from start to finish. Bud Light keeps it coming. By Auto Tire. For the lowest prices in town with 26 locations to serve you, you want to go to Auto Tire, the tire pros. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. By Geico. And by Southwest Airlines. Well, the tickets from yesterday are good for tonight. We had, of course, had a packed house yesterday, but we'll be about 15,000 shy of that tonight here at Busch Stadium as we open up officially again the 2008 campaign. And there's a look at Tony La Russa, and he turns the ball over to Kyle Loge, our Rico starter for St. Louis, and a guy that you hope can give you innings this year.
Well, his track record dictates he will. A very abbreviated spring training signed with the Cardinals on the 14th of March. And he established himself very quickly as a guy that was in shape, and his pitch count should be as high as any pitcher on the staff.
And Willie Taveras will lead it off. The former Astro now playing center field for the Colorado Rockies, and the first pitch is a strike. You know, you got to give Loge a lot of credit. He came in to camp in shape. He worked out in California, was uncertain about where his future was going to be here in 2008. And I love the fact that he works quickly. We see that here after 2 pitches, but he came in shape and ready to roll.
And he comes in throwing strikes, and that's a trademark. Walks very few.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Always have to watch out for Willie Taveras and his speed as far as laying down bunts. 8th season for Kyle Loge. 195 starts, 63 and 74 record in his career. Very fast worker. That just missed up and in. 46 degrees. A little different than yesterday as Dave Duncan gets an up-close look at Kyle Loge. 2-2 the count. Little chopper. That is a fair ball. Taveras fell coming out of the box, and that's blocked by Pujols. He will step on the bag, and the unconventional first out of the game. I wonder if Glaus was thinking it was hit off his foot or his ankle and was a dead ball, but you always complete the play.
Well, especially with Willie Taveras has tremendous speed. You can see as he's so fast, he trips on that tiny little pebble that was right out in front of the plate. But
did he step on home plate? I thought he may have stepped on the plate.
No, he actually, his first step, he kind of got tangled up with his feet and lost his balance.
Let's give Pujols a little credit too for staying with the play.
I like you're describing. He blocked the ball because he did with his bare hand. Is it a short hop to him?
Don't break any fingers over there. Just make the play. That's all we care about. Here's Troy Tulowitzki, the shortstop. And he looks at a strike. This is such a good lineup for Clint Hurdle and the Rockies here in 2008, a team that went to the World Series a year ago.
That late movement, tailing inside, and Tulowitzki, to me, I thought, and I would have voted for him as the National League Rookie of the Year. He was the runner-up.
And Tulowitzki pulls it fair past Troy Glaus down the third base line and into the corner. And he'll trot into second base with a 1-out double here in the Rockies half of the first. Southwest Airlines brings us the Rockies lineup on this cool night here at Busch Stadium. Taveras, we just saw him along with Tulowitzki. Then you have Helton, Holiday, Atkins, and Hop. Yorvi Torrealba, who was terrific in postseason play a year ago. Then you have Jason Nix making his major league debut tonight. And the pitcher batting ninth is Kip Wells. And there's a look at Clint Hurdle, manager since 2002 for Colorado. Let's go back to your statement as that one skips by Molina off his glove and to the backstop. Normally you don't see that.
Pass ball for a guy that we project to be the Gold Glove winner in the National League, and see if he didn't get crossed up. But it's a breaking ball. He's looking for something else and goes off the glove, so he's looking maybe for the fastball as Loesch may have forgot with a runner at second base to change the signs.
And you say you go with Tulowitzki for the Rookie of the Year a year ago instead of Ryan Braun.
Well, he hit the second most home runs in National League history. He had the most RBI, or for a shortstop, he had the most RBIs ever for a rookie shortstop. Played very, very fine defense for their club. And Ryan Braun, okay, came in late May, had more home runs, but it wasn't as significant. But his defense was such a terrible factor that I know he gave at least the Cardinals 3 victories on his defense alone.
Well, it was so bad they had to move positions this year
to left field to try and get him out of the infield. But
when you talk about a
he's
shortstop.
a hitter. He's a hitter.
Oh, he can hit, and he did that yesterday against the Cubs. But you know, you talk about shortstop, certainly one of the most important positions on the field.
Exactly, and Tulowitzki's really become a leader. You know, they give him, what is an 8-year contract as a first-year player?
It was 6 years and over $30 million, 31. Kind of like when you first got to the big leagues, Al. You know, you proved yourself, and all of a sudden they gave you that 6-year extension. A little different for you?
Drop about
5 zeros.
Yeah, 5 zeros off of that, and that's what you get after 2 or 3 years for 6 years.
The 3-1 has popped up. Big pitch here, yeah. And Pujols is near the bag. Foul territory, puts it away for out number 2. So Todd Helton, the dangerous first baseman of the Rockies, retired. Let's meet the Cardinals defense as we go around the horn, as always presented by Auto Tire. We'll highlight Adam Kennedy. Now he is in the starting lineup tonight, wasn't yesterday. 79 games at second base last year and a .981 fielding percentage. Duncan, Ankiel, Schumacher in the outfield. Troy Gloss, Cesar Izturis on the left side. Kennedy and Pujols on the right side. And Yadier Molina is behind the plate. Here's Matt Holliday. He led the National League in average and RBIs last year. Something that Clint Hurdle has done with his lineup this season, at least early on, and this is very early on because it's the first inning of the opening day, but he says he wants to stay with us, is that he has flip-flopped Todd Helton and Matt Holliday in this lineup. So you'll see Helton batting third, and Holliday will be the cleanup man.
They have such an explosive lineup. I mean, terrific power numbers and RBI men.
A pitch that is inside on deck. It's Garrett Atkins, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
How important is that as the season goes along to see a pitcher that will pitch inside? Tack that inside and get him out of the way.
Right down the middle as Molina actually set up on the outside portion of the plate. And there's 2 of the best, as we talked about yesterday. And they both wear number 5. That is Matt Holliday on the right, Albert Pujols on the left. The 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball just missed outside.
It was just a little outside, but that was a good pitcher's pitch. 2-2 tries to have him go after a pitch just off the plate, and a lot less hitters would go fishing.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. And again, he just missed outside. Our home plate umpire tonight is Randy Marsh. Mike Winters over at first. Hunter Wendelstedt is at second, and Marvin Hudson over at third. You can see Molina questioning that strike zone.
Well, borderline, and you know, I mean, that was exactly where Kyle wanted that pitch to be. And it took some guts for Holliday to even take that pitch. But it doesn't get any easier with this young man.
Garrett Atkins, the third baseman. Tap foul. Got off to a really slow start last year. First 2 months of the season, he hit .223. So he makes the adjustment this year in spring training to make sure that he doesn't get off to the slow start. Took extra swings in the cage, and in talking with the Rockies people, one of the things that he wants to do is just try to make contact. They felt he was always swinging, you know, for the fences, over swinging, and got him in some bad habits and out of what he does best. Lazy fly ball into right center field. Schumacher, who made a great catch in the first inning in left field last night, puts this one away in right field. Cardinals coming up in the home half of the first.
You know, every day at 3 o'clock, Budweiser Brewmasters in St. Louis taste samples flown in from all 12 of our local breweries to ensure that every Budweiser tastes the same, coast to coast. That's a sweet job.
Well, you sure do have a lot of phones.
I know.
We do. We have all the latest models.
Yeah, all of them. You know what I feel like? I feel like I wish fate would point me in the right direction.
Wow, that was...
I just need a sign.
Text faster, share pictures, and listen to tunes. All the coolest models are here. It's why U.S. Cellular is wireless where you matter most.
It's here and it's big. It's Dodge Truck Month. Driven by Dodge Ram 1500 with fuel-saving MDS technology that turns Hemi V8 power into a gas-sipping four-cylinder at cruising speeds. And it's backed by our lifetime powertrain warranty. With unlimited mileage, you're covered for as long as you own your truck. Now get a no extra charge Hemi plus 0% financing for 60 months on Ram 1500. Get into Truck Month at your local Dodge dealer. It's gonna be huge.
Looking for the best brand of tires at a place you can trust? At Auto Tire, we carry brands like Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, Yokohama, and more. For the best tire brands at a place you can trust, you ought to go to Auto Tire, the tire pros.
Budweiser. First with refrigerated rail cars. First with Born on Dating. And now this. The new Fresh Lock cap. Keeps the air out and the freshness in. Innovation. Now that's Budweiser.
The first rolls in. It's opening day again for the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's take a look at Tony La Russa's lineup, as always presented by Southwest Airlines. A couple of changes in this lineup, as Skip Schumacher will lead it off, followed by Chris Duncan. That's one of the changes. Albert Pujols will bat third, then Ankiel and Gloss. They'll flip-flop spots in this lineup today. Yadier Molina, the catcher. Adam Kennedy is in there instead of Miles. The pitcher, Lowe's, batting 8th. Is Turris at short, batting 9th. Our Rico starter, we saw him a bunch last year, and that is Kip Wells, 7-17 last season with the Cardinals.
He was projected to be in their bullpen and probably was going to come out of the bullpen and pitch in yesterday's game, but rain halted it, and a surprise starter for the Rockies here on what turns out to be the opening day. But get to Kip Wells early.
Third baseman Atkins is in on the grass for Skip Schumacher. And during batting practice today, this place was still buzzing about his play out in left field. What a great catch that was.
Oh, it really was an outstanding play. And how about the good start he had yesterday and as a leadoff hitter? You know, getting on base is the key.
This is a spot where the Cardinals really need to figure out if he can be the everyday guy. And he walked and scored in the first inning of a 4-run inning for the Cardinals yesterday. Takes the place of David Eckstein, who's now with Toronto. They were rained out yesterday, but playing against the Yankees tonight. They lead their ball game 2-1 in the 5th. And that is 3-0. We saw Jeff Francis unable to locate time and again. Bunch of walks, and let's see if we get that from Kip Wells tonight.
Francis, 10 straight balls to start the game.
He was praying to the rain gods yesterday between innings. He wanted it to pour.
You know, Kip, as we said last year, has very good stuff, but has always been noted as an underachiever. A great opportunity for Kip to work with Dave Duncan and resurrect his career, but didn't work. New chance for the Rockies.
It's not like the Cardinals didn't try just about everything with Kip Wells too, Al. I mean, they would try everything with him to see if they could get him on track. He was, at least at the beginning of the season, a guy that they were hoping that they could count on. Let's take a look at the 4 keys to the game for Al.
Well, get to Kip Wells early. He's the kind of guy that he's lost a lot of games, so you get on top of him, and he kind of surrenders. You must have the effective bullpen, not only tonight, but for the entire year. Be what they were last year, and this team will be fine. And Tony's motto still applies, play a hard 9.
Here is Chris Duncan. He'll get the start tonight against the right-hander. The 26-year-old, the 46th overall pick back in 1997 for the Cardinals. You know, Duncan is coming off back-to-back 20 home run seasons. We kind of forget that because of his poor second half and really rough spring.
Well, and yet, you know, here he is. He's had 2 years with the ball club, but he's had 2 great halves. 1 half in each year. Last year's second half was destroyed with the eventual surgery for the sports hernia, had a rough spring, but he's been coming around of late.
Skip Schumacher last year in 88 games had only 1 steal. Up the middle, Tulowitzki diving stop, double play. Oh, wow, what a play from Troy Tulowitzki. 6-4-3 on the double play.
Looked like a Rookie of the Year, didn't he?
He sure did.
There's the difference, what you talk about. Ryan Braun, who was the Rookie Year or the runner-up, an all-around player and a good one at both ends.
You know, Al, Clint Hurdle was asked about the contract that Tulowitzki got, being a second-year guy, and he said, you know what, he made so many eye-popping plays for us that I had no problem with it, and the way that he handled himself off the field too.
Well, that they were talking about him as a guy in his first year demonstrating one of the biggest leaders on their team.
First pitch to Pujols is a strike. He homered yesterday. And as we talked about in the ball game yesterday, I think that Albert's going to have just an absolutely monster season. He's in great shape.
He's in great shape. He had a tremendous spring, and it's imperative for him to take the load off a lot of the younger players for him to get off to a good start. He and Troy Glaus, the veteran guys. So then, you know, like the Schumachers, the Duncans, the Ankiels, the guys like that can kind of settle in and relax and don't feel that they have to carry an undue amount of pressure.
And I think one of the questions at this point with a lineup that you just don't know about and how they're going to produce, is there enough protection around Albert Pujols this season? Popped up right side, the Gold Glover, 3-time award winner in the first base, Todd Helton puts it away in foul territory. Troy Tulowitzki, as Pujols is frustrated, showing off the leather at shortstop, taking a hit away from Duncan, and a double play here in the first. No score after 1 here at Busch Stadium.
Thank you. How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
9, please.
Don't like stopping? Starting May 10th, you can fly Southwest Airlines' new nonstop service from St. Louis to Denver for just $79 one way.
You are now free to move about the country.
The Serie A season is in full force on FSC. Tensions run wild as world-class stars come together in pursuit of the coveted Scudetto. Unmatched skill, relentless determination. It's all on the line, and these teams will stop at nothing to reach the top. Don't miss a moment of Italy's electrifying season. La Lega Calcio Serie A, exclusively on FSC.
Before the race, behind the scenes, being in the middle of it all, NASCAR on speed. See it, feel it, live it, be there. Nobody covers NASCAR like NASCAR on speed. NASCAR on speed. Be there.
You're watching FSN Midwest, where Cardinals fans come first.
Back at Busch Stadium, that's the home opener yet again here on FSN Midwest, and tonight we are presented in high definition. The first of 88 games presented in HD this season, and a total of 130 regular season telecasts on FSN Midwest. The crowd is filling in a bit here tonight. Glad you're with us. Got about 2,200 tickets remaining for tomorrow. And over 5,000 for the business person special on Thursday afternoon against these Rockies. So come on down. We hope to see you here at the ballpark. The 1-1 pitch. 1-2 the count on Brad Hopp. Well, give me your assessment of Kyle Loge. We have seen him the last few years in the National League with Cincinnati. We saw him with the Phillies at the end of last season. He was very good twice against the Cardinals. You and I saw him twice in spring training. What do you think of him?
Oh, I've been very impressed with him. He goes out and throws strikes. He has a lot of weapons. You know, he's shown the ability to pitch on both sides of the plate, up and down in the zone, change speeds. And the one thing that, you know, was a little concerning to me, and I'm glad I talked to Ron Gardenhire, his former manager with the Twins, is there was some comparison that Loesch and Kyle and Kip Wells were a little bit the same. And, you know, Gardenhire said he is a very good competitor. He said, we had our problems at times, but it was usually because I was taking him out of a game and he didn't want to come out. He said, I can deal with that.
A check swing to Troy Glaus. Torrealba retired for out number 2 here in the second.
There was a great pitcher's pitch. Just absolutely frustrating a hitter getting the ball running up and in. Throws from the extreme first base side, just kind of that tall, drives to the mound. It's kind of, you know, just, you know, the tall and fall theory of pitching. But he has very good stuff. He's got, you know, as I said, he pitches on both sides of the plate. Usually guys that pitch inside win.
2 outs, nobody on for Jason Nix. And this is a player that the Rockies were counting on to win the job in spring training, and he did it. Making his major league debut tonight. Hit .292 at Colorado Springs, and he replaces Kaz Matsui. Matsui, the former Met, then Rocky, who was outstanding at second base last year for Colorado. And Nix hits a high fly ball out to left. Duncan drifting with room and puts it away for the third and final out here in the top of the second. Coming up, Rick Ankiel, Troy Glaus, and Yadier Molina for the Cardinals in their half of the second.
Wake up a little easier with your favorite pick-me-up drink from McDonald's. And right now, get a free Redbox DVD rental with the purchase of any large soft drink. Only at McDonald's.
Working sucks. So make sure you make a lot of money doing it, because it all sucks.
How are you? Aaron Eckhart, Jessica Alba, Elizabeth Banks. Meet Bill.
That is hot.
Rated R. In theaters Friday.
It's here and it's big. It's Dodge Truck Month. Driven by Dodge Ram 1500 with fuel-saving MDS technology that turns Hemi V8 power into a gas-sipping 4-cylinder at cruising speeds. And it's backed by our lifetime powertrain warranty. With unlimited mileage, you're covered for as long as you own your truck. Now get a no extra charge Hemi, plus 0% financing for 60 months on Ram 1500. Get into Truck Month at your local Dodge dealer. It's gonna be huge.
The greatest show on ice is on FSN Midwest. Don't miss the second meeting this week between 2 Central Division foes as Brad Boys and the Blues are out to play spoiler and end their season on a high note when they travel to Nashville to face a team on the cusp of a playoff bid, hungry to overcome anything standing in their way. Blues Predators, Thursday on FSN Midwest.
The Rockies, the only base hit in this game, and that was Tulowitzki back in the first inning, and we have no score. Let's meet their defense, presented by Auto Tire as we go around the horn. Holiday, Tavares, and Hopp in the outfield. Atkins, Tulowitzki, Nixon, Helton along the infield. Yorvi, Torrealba is behind the plate. You see Helton only 2 errors last season. Troy Tulowitzki, another look, Al, at this terrific double play.
Well, this ball appeared to be going into center field for a solid single. It was scorched off the bat of Chris Duncan, but Tulowitzki makes a dive, the flip to his new second baseman, and the Cardinals' promising start came to an end.
We're not talking about a small guy playing shortstop. That position has completely changed since you were playing, since Ozzie was out there at short. I mean, he's a big guy, and he hits for power. He drives in runs, and he obviously has a great glove as well. But it really has changed. He is listed at 6'3", 210 pounds. And playing shortstop as Ankiel grounds it to Garrett Atkins for the first out here in the second. Well, we want you to be a part of the Chevy's Cardinals Crew Kids Club, and it features Adam Wainwright this year. And for only $20, you'll receive free tickets, Cardinals gear, an autograph party on Saturday, September 27th, and much more. Memberships are going fast, so be sure to sign up today. The number to call is 345-9600, or check it out online at stlcardinals.com. Troy Glaus had a pair of walks yesterday, but that was washed away. We talked about all the home runs that he had while with Arizona against the Rockies, and the 1 year in the National League he had 37 home runs and 97 RBIs.
If he plays right around 150 games, he's always going to be right at that 40 home run mark. Tremendous power.
Were you surprised, and we talked a little bit about this in spring training, that the Cardinals were able to get good value back in the trade for Scott Rowland, coming off his shoulder surgeries and knowing that he struggled with his manager in Philly and now struggled with Tony La Russa?
I was. I felt like he would have to go to spring training and prove that he was healthy.
As Glaus flies to right, Brad Hopp is there for out number 2.
Before you could get a major league talent such as Troy Glaus, and remember that Glaus had the foot problem. They had the AstroTurf in Toronto, so they were doing him a favor getting him to the National League and the natural surface.
I think if you look at this lineup right now, a concern would be your bottom half, because you've got Molina, who hit 59 points higher a year ago than the previous season. Kennedy coming off a 219 year. Then the pitcher, then Cesar Izturis trying to get back to being an everyday player. This bottom of the order has to be a concern right now for Tony La Russa.
Dan, you bring up a good point, because as a pitcher, you'll look at the opposing lineup, and certain guys you may have trouble with, but as you dissect that, you sit there and you say, this is my out, here's my out. And what you're saying, not that you could take the end of an order and feel comfortable, but you go, here's my breathing room where I can regroup during this period of time, and you know where your outs are going to come from if you get into a jam.
And that's why you hope number 4 even takes his offensive game to another level this year.
I think everyone feels that Molina is going to be an offensive player.
Hit 275 last year with 6 home runs and 40 RBIs, and the count is 3 balls and no strikes. It's always an interesting question when you see a guy that has caught a pitcher for a number of years, or at least has a familiarity with him, like a Molina does with Kip Wells, if there is an advantage when he goes to the plate against that pitcher.
Well, a lot of times, that catcher will know the predictability, what a pitcher's tendencies are, what he likes to throw. But I think in today's baseball, where a lot of pitchers are more reliant on what fingers or what the catcher calls, that might be neutralized. Pitchers, but Kip there is shaking off pitches too.
A 3-1 to Molina, right down the middle. And on deck you have Adam Kennedy, who's 3 for 7 against tonight's starter Kip Wells with a couple of strikeouts. Was not in that starting lineup yesterday, but in there against the right-hander today.
I think we're all hopeful that Kennedy will have a much better year, and by spring training standards, he should.
The 3-2 and a swing and a miss, and Kip Wells, after falling behind 3-0, comes back to get Yadier Molina. Third inning rolls in when we come back.
Oh, honey, I told the neighbors we'd feed their pets while they're away.
Oh, okay, sweetie. Oh, no.
Want to get away? Now you can. Fly Southwest Airlines' new nonstop service from St. Louis to Philadelphia for just $99 one way.
You are now free to move about the country.
Whether you have time to prepare from scratch or need to simply heat and serve, Schnucks has a solution for you.
This week, save on selected varieties of Schnucks vegetables. Take home 20 cans for $10. All varieties of Schnucks cottage cheese in 24-ounce cartons are $2.79 each. And stock up on Schnucks purified drinking water. A case of 24 half-liter bottles is only $3.47.
At Schnucks, we make it easy.
course, Geico sponsors Mike's Race Car because they insure everything race car fans love. RVs, motorcycles, ATVs. Tell you one thing they can insure: Lauren Wallace. Because Lauren Wallace is made of lightning. Those guys are like, hey, where's Lauren? He was just here a minute ago. I'm 100 miles away, son. Ready to strike.
Geico, saving you money on insurance for your car and the other stuff that moves you.
You're watching FSN Midwest, where Cardinals fans come first.
No score as we move to the top of the third here at Busch Stadium. Opening game for both these teams, the Colorado Rockies and the St. Louis Cardinals. This date in baseball history, brought to you by Schnucks. Tony La Russa manages his first game for the St. Louis Cardinals. That was April 1st, 1996. And you take a look at what he's done, and obviously he has had a terrific career with the St. Louis Cardinals. And Andy Bennis pitched in that game. The Cardinals eventually lost. Tony Fossis, everybody's favorite left-hander, outside of you, Al, took the loss.
Well, 13 years later, you can see Adam Wainwright.
You know, Adam was talking prior to the game about just getting going when the rain hit, and certainly your nerves are a part of opening day for any player, no matter how many years you've been in it. But he was the opening day starter, first assignment to do that, and I thought as the game went on, he was just getting better and better.
Yeah, absolutely, and getting better, and he also had a nice lead. Compliments of 2-run double by Ankiel and a 2-run single by Molina, and then a home run by Pujols. But Adam's going to get his fair share. We'll see him next on Saturday.
Unfortunately, doesn't count. The home runs, the RBIs, the doubles, all washed away. But that's baseball. It's been that way for years.
Yeah.
I think I know the answer to this, but I'm sure you're shocked to see Tony La Russa still here.
13 years.
Yeah, after starting back in 1996.
Especially when he lost his first game. You know, come on.
Kip Wells strikes out. Number 2 on the night for Kyle Loge. Well, a guy that made the rotation for the Cardinals, and he's kind of blocked right there with that bar, but he's to the right of Wainwright, and that is Brad Thompson.
And we want to talk about Brad. We want to congratulate him. He and his engagement to Andrea Cotis. Andrea, a beautiful young lady who's got a tremendous personality, and Brad spent a lot of time in St. Louis this offseason, and they're going to get married.
Here is Willie Taveras back to the top of the lineup for the Rockies. Our Applebee's pitch count at 34 for the Cardinals right-hander. Chopped towards short, charging is Turris for out number 2. That's 6 straight set down by Kyle Loge. And if you're playing short with this guy running, you better be quick.
Yeah, any time that Taveras is in that batter's box, puts a lot more pressure on the defense. Kind of a little in-between hop there for his Turris. Looked relatively simple, but because of Taveras' speed, you know, he can play havoc with the defense.
Here's Tulowitzki. You go back to his rookie season, hit .291, 24 home runs, which is the rookie record for National League shortstops, 99 RBIs. And partner, he played in 155 games, so you're getting a guy that's pretty durable too. Count on him every single day. 2 balls and no strikes. He doubled his first time up. He was a 2-time All-American in college at Long Beach State, and graces the cover of Sports Illustrated with B.J. Upton and Ryan Braun, all selections from the 2005 draft. And there was the 1978 cover for Clint Hurdle with the headline Phenom.
Phenom, rookie Phenom. I was with the Royals at that time, and of course it was real tough for Clint. He was coming out of, he was a high school player, so he was very young. He was about 20 years of age, and really shifting positions and really trying to replace a home run hitter. Big John Mabry has Clint was moved from the outfield to first base. He was a line drive type hitter, tried to hit more home runs. It was kind of a lost season, but he stayed around a long time and become a very successful manager.
Yeah, parts of 10 big league seasons. Matter of fact, he was here in St. Louis back in the mid-'80s, 1986. The 9th overall pick in 1975 by Kansas City, and here is Todd Helton. And people say if you ever had a chance to watch Clint Hurdle growing up, it wasn't just baseball. They said he was a phenomenal football player, and that might have been even his best sport of the two. He was born in Michigan and then born and raised in Florida.
Merritt Island.
That's right.
Right there at once was Cape Canaveral.
That's right. Todd Helton, of course, the connection to football. I think he picked the right sport, but quarterback at Tennessee. Todd Helton has just had a phenomenal career. And there it is, the base hit into right. Tulowitzki will stop at second base. So the Rockies have something going here in the third with 2 outs.
11 consecutive opening days for Todd Helton. Just a terrific Rocky, the face of their franchise, and then he catches a breaking ball, low ball hitter. Kyle Loesch has the ability to get a double play, and he needs one now.
They always say with 2 outs.
With 2 outs, yeah, that helps.
Yeah, they always say that some of the best trades are the ones that you don't make. And rumored at the beginning of last season was Todd Helton going to the Boston Red Sox, and that did not happen, obviously. Still with Colorado. And Dan O'Dowd, their general manager, along with Clint Hurdle, said, look, it was a great thing that he was still around with some of these young players that we have to help them along. And Tulowitzki is a perfect example of that.
Remember, after Tulowitzki's double, and there was a little cross-up, and the pass ball allowed him to go to third base. This time, Tulowitzki gets to second base, and Loesch came out and confirmed what is the call with the runner at second.
A line drive that's caught by Pujols. And the inning comes to a close as Holiday was trying to pick up the RBI. No score midway through 3.
You know, every day at 3 o'clock, Budweiser Brewmasters in St. Louis taste samples flown in from all 12 of our local breweries to ensure that every Budweiser tastes the same, coast to coast. That's a sweet job.
At Auto Tire, we take pride in doing our part for the environment, like having tires recycled for use in important things, including playground surfaces, roads, and more. For a company focused on our future, you ought to go to Auto Tire, the tire pros.
It's here and it's big. It's Dodge Truck Month. Driven by Dodge Ram 1500 with fuel-saving MDS technology that turns Hemi V8 power into a gas-sipping 4-cylinder at cruising speeds. And it's backed by our lifetime powertrain warranty. With unlimited mileage, you're covered for as long as you own your truck. Now get a no extra charge Hemi, plus 0% financing for 60 months on Ram 1500. Get into Truck Month at your local Dodge dealer. It's gonna be huge.
Budweiser. First with refrigerated rail cars. First with Born on Dating. And now this. The new Fresh Lock cap. Keeps the air out and the freshness in. Innovation. Now that's Budweiser.
The series that's been nominated for an astounding 4 sports Emmys is back with another all-new episode. This week on Sports Science. From mind-blowing bicycle kicks to miraculous buzzer beaters, we find out if it's possible to recreate sports' most amazing plays. It's an all-new episode of Sports Science, Sunday on FSN.
Saturday, April 5th, the Cardinals take on the Nationals, and all fans 15 and under receive a Cardinals t-shirt courtesy of Ice Mountain brand natural spring water. And for tickets, the number to call is 345-9000 or visit us online at stlcardinals.com. The Washington Nationals and their lone visit to St. Louis over the weekend.
I heard something today about Sunday. We're going to have the presence of the Clydesdales once again.
Really?
75th anniversary of the Clydesdales and Anheuser-Busch.
What a great part of opening day that is, isn't it? Gives you chills when you see the Clydesdales and the motorcade, and the fans love it, but it's such a special day, certainly for the players, and especially for the ones that have never seen it. A guy like Kyle McClellan, a hometown Hazelwood resident that took part in his first ever opening day festivities. Rico Washington. We spent so many years in the minor leagues, and then to have the chance to go through such a special day. And it's special everywhere, but there are just certain places where it just seems like they take it to a different level, and this certainly is one of them. 1 ball, 1 strike on Adam Kennedy. Kennedy battled through injuries last year and only hit .219. As you mentioned, if spring is any indicator, you would hope he'd be a little bit better this year. And speaking of the Clydesdales, there they are. They were getting set for opening day yesterday. And we were told by the Cat, Jim Hayes, at Tony La Russa was like a kid in a candy store about it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Jim rode on the motorcade with Tony. There's a base hit to the opposite way for Kennedy. Well, speaking of the Nationals coming to town, let's take a look at our schedule. Next few days. Thursday and tomorrow, Colorado, then Washington for 3, and then we'll head out on the road at Houston, then at San Francisco for 4, minus Barry Bonds, and then open day on Monday, and then back home against Milwaukee. But a lot of baseball to open up this season after what should have been an off day today now turns into 13 straight. Here's Kyle Loge.
Couldn't believe you didn't get all excited about that April 15th date.
Well, I'm sure a player does on the 1st and the 15th.
No, I was thinking April 15th. Tax day.
Tax day. I'd rather not talk about it. Well, you know how to bring a guy down.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this, but I was looking at the box score yesterday with Chicago and Milwaukee.
Yeah, I saw. I know where you're going. Ned Yost.
Ned Yost is using the pitcher, batting 8th.
Well, it makes perfect sense with Ben Sheets, but I think he's going to do it on a consistent basis.
Now, this is what's really going to shock you, because we would always run into Ted Simmons on the road as a scout. Now Ted is part of that bench for Milwaukee, and I know he wasn't a real fan favorite of the pitcher batting 8th, but now he is seeing his manager do that. Just part of the game. So Ned Yost had his pitcher batting 8th yesterday at Wrigley Field. A wild ball game too, as both closers, Kerry Wood and Eric Gagne, gave up leads and tie ball games and big hits. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kennedy is over at first. And now 2-1. And I think if you look at the Central, that certainly is one of the causes of concern for both those teams. You have an unproven in Kerry Wood, and you have another guy that in Eric Gagne that totally struggled last year with Boston. Didn't have a great spring, and you wonder about his confidence too.
Absolutely, and you know, it gave him a $10 million contract.
Post Mitchell report too. The bunt is a good one. The sacrifice is good for Kyle Loge. And Kennedy in scoring position. Well, coming up later tonight, it's the FSN Final Score. They'll take you around Major League Baseball. Some news with college basketball. The Final Four coming up this weekend. The FSN Final Score later tonight here on FSN Midwest at 10:30 following our postgame show. Here's Cesar Izturis, batting 9th, the shortstop for the Cardinals. Split time with Chicago and Pittsburgh last year.
Well, a lot of times what the Rockies or any club are going to try to do to Izturis, particularly when he's batting left-handed, is elevate the ball in the strike zone, try and make him hit the ball in the air. Very little power, especially from the left side. His natural hitting side is right-handed, so a little stronger that way, but he's kind of a slap down on the ball and run.
1 out and a runner at second base for Cesar Izturis. Pitch popped into left. Holiday will make it.
Exactly what they wanted him to do.
So with 2 outs, back to the top of the lineup, and Skip Schumacher. Kip Wells last year, 17 losses wearing the Cardinals uniform, and twice he gave up 11 runs in a game, and once was to the team that he now works for, and that's the Colorado Rockies.
Dan, he's not the first and he won't be the last, but reputation, kind of the type of pitcher. He can pitch very effectively, but if you keep him close, he'll do something to lose the ball game. And a lot of times once he gives up runs, he can't stop. And he'll have a big inning where he'll give up a 5 spot, not uncommon. But he does have a major league arm, a big league arm all the way.
Out of Baylor University, he is 59-90 as a starter in his career. Much better, though, out of the bullpen, a place that he does not want to be pitching from. He's 5-1 as a reliever. And last year in the Cardinals bullpen, he was pretty good. He was 2-0 with a 1.31 ERA and 8 appearances, but he made it known he didn't want to be out there. Schumacher walked his first time up. 2 balls, no strikes to the Cardinals leadoff man with Adam Kennedy out at second base. Third opening day roster for Skip Schumacher.
Good pitch.
Popped into left center field. Taveras there. The Cardinals strand their first runner of the night. 4th inning rolls in when we come back, and there's no score.
Keep your day moving with a McDonald's iced coffee. So creamy and sweet, so rich and delicious. You won't want to put it down.
I am your idea. I gotta fly. I gotta move. I'm out of the box and in the network. In the zone and on your mind. Don't stop me now. Give me Rico. Rico's always ready to move me. Send me. Here, there, everywhere. This is how we go. Let's go. Rico.
I inhabit the nightmares of Italian loafers. I've trodden my own path. I have stepped in bull, but never talked it. I have been rehealed, resold, but never replaced. I am a stranger to polish. I have spent more time on dirt than cement.
You're out here for a reason. So are we. Tractor Supply Company. The stuff you need out here.
Hey kids, this is Adam Wainwright. Be sure to join the Chevy's Cardinals Crew Kids Club. As a member, you'll get 2 tickets to a Cardinals game, an autograph party in the summer, a free kids meal at the Chevy's Fresh Mex restaurants, a jersey bag and other cool Cardinals items, and even the chance to hang out with me in the dugout before a game. All this for just a $20 membership. To register, get your parents to visit your nearest Chevy's Fresh Mix. Call 314-345-9600 or log on at stlcardinals.com. What are you waiting for? Sign up now.
Cardinals baseball on FSM Midwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Glad to have you with us here on FSM Midwest. Al Raboski, Dan McLaughlin, our Bud Sports crew. There's no score as we move to the top of the 4th. And this is the Rockies' third baseman, Garrett Atkins. Atkins, another solid year with 25 home runs, 111 RBIs in 07.
Last 3 years, over 300 RBIs. Only 2 third basemen in all of baseball have more.
Cal Loge actually began his career with the Chicago Cubs. Over to get it and make the play is Duncan.
It's a modern player, isn't it, Dan? Everything one-handed?
One hand, Al.
No, it's fine as long as it comes down and stays in their glove.
Remember our spring training game against Baltimore? 2 drops in the outfield.
Yeah.
Both with one hand. So Atkins flies out to left, and here is Brad Hopp. Hit .291 last year with 29 home runs, 116 RBIs. Boy, this lineup has got some pop.
Oh, they absolutely do. And not only a explosive offensive team, a lot of young players. You know, this is, I think a lot of teams right now look at the Colorado Rockies and the Arizona Diamondback teams as the model of how to build a franchise.
No doubt.
Arizona is the youngest team in the National League, and both of them are homegrown products. Kind of filter in a free agent or a trade here and there, but it's all done through the farm system. And the Cardinals are much better, you know, and they're learning from that model. And the Rockies really kind of said, we got to get much younger about 3 years ago, and they're reaping the benefits now.
They have upped their payroll to just over $70 million, up from 61 a year ago. But what you're talking about is this. They had 61 guys in camp, where 48 of the 61 were players that were drafted by the Rockies. That's a lot. So you start developing those players, you try to lock them up long term. And I think another thing and a trend that you're seeing, and we saw it with Wainwright, Tulowitzki, and some of the other younger players, is trying to buy out some of the arbitration years, free agency years, those kind of things, to make sure that they stay with you. It's a risk, but yet risk reward.
Well, and sometimes you got to, you know, look at the Cardinals. You know, they locked up Molina, Wainwright, guys that, you know, not only are exceptional young talent, but are really quality people, and ones that you know that's not going to change their work ethic by giving some job security. And it long term, it benefits both of them.
The 3-2 is hit on the ground to Pujols, and now Hopp is struck out and grounded out. 0 for 2. Not much hitting on this cool night here in St. Louis. The Rockies with just 2 hits, St. Louis with 1.
You know, talking about the Cardinals and using homegrown talent. If you look at right now the starting lineup, as Tony is looking intently at it, 6 of the 9 are homegrown.
Let's go around. Let's see. Molina, Pujols,
Kennedy.
Yep, he was drafted back in '97.
All 3 outfielders.
Yeah,
just
Duncan,
the left side of the infield, and our starting pitcher Kyle Lowe should not, you know, through the Cardinal farm system.
Schumacher. Here's an 0-1 pitch to Yorvi Torrealba. Hit out to deep right center field, backing up with room. In front of the track is Skip Schumacher. An easy 4th inning for Kyle Lowe. Duncan, Pujols, and Keel coming up.